Good evening, ladies and gents. Another Sunday market breakdown. So let's see what are the potential setups that I'm looking for this week. Starting off with NZD USD on the monthly. What can I see here on the monthly? I can see that previous month or this month we closed with a bearish indicated candle. And what can I also see is that we have a inverse head and shoulder pattern. Considering we have a bearish indicating candle, I'm looking to trade this relief to the downside until this monthly IC. Then on the weekly, what can I see on the weekly? A head and shoulder pattern, shoulder one, D head, shoulder two on a strong supply and demand zone. So I'm just waiting for the market, the price to come towards this zone to look for a potential short setup. The next one on the watch list is Euro Swiss. Now, what can I see on Euro Swiss? Euro Swiss, 2 months ago, we broke very impulsively this monthly low. And this month, we haven't retested it. Instead, the momentum just pushed towards the downside. So this is telling me that there's a lot of bearish momentum in the market. So I will be looking for short setups. I will be looking for short setups until the market tells me otherwise. So what can I see on the weekly? On the weekly, I can see a bearish W pattern. One, two, three. I'm waiting for the price to come towards this zone, the weekly first, to look for a potential short setup. Then the next one on the list is pound CHF. Now, what can I see on pound CHF is that this month we have kind of broken and also potentially retested this monthly low. But what can I see is very, very bearish momentum. Now, when I take my FIB from the low to the high, I can see that we have tapped this monthly IC and we push towards the downside. And we still have lots of room till the monthly TP, till the monthly FIB completion. So for me, my monthly bias is very bearish. What can I see on the weekly? On the weekly, I can see that 2 weeks ago we did break this weekly low, and previous week we retested it. And again, we closed very bearish impulsively. So this indicates that we're in a phase 4 trade. So I can look for daily patterns. And what can I see on the daily? I see a bearish W, one, two, three, potential fourth leg. And I can also see in a head and shoulder pattern, shoulder one, D head, and potentially shoulder two. So for me, two possibilities. Either we go to this first zone and the price gives me an entry in terms of a head and shoulder. Or if the price comes very correctively towards this shoulder, I'm willing to take a direct entry on the daily. So we'll see what the market does during the week. Next one on the watch list is AUD yen. Now, what can I see? 2 months ago, we broke above this monthly high, and this month we closed bullish impulsively, and we've already retested our monthly high. So for me, the bias is long. What can I see on the weekly? On the weekly, I can see a bullish yen pattern. One, two, three. And previous week, we broke above this weekly high. So I'm expecting a corrective pullback towards this zone to take a potential long setup. Now, considering we're in a phase 4 trade, I need a daily pattern. So when I go to the daily, I can see that I have a daily bullish M. One, two, three, four, potential fourth leg, and potential fifth leg. Now, what's very important for me is I'm not willing to take an entry on the weekly zone. I'm going to wait for my daily zone to be hit because I need a double confirmation considering I'm in a phase 4 trade. So just staying patient. Then New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. What can I see on the monthly? On the monthly, I can see an inverse head and shoulder pattern. Shoulder one, the head, potentially shoulder two. But I can also see that we have a strong supply and demand zone. We have lots of buying liquidity in the past. Next that I could see is that previous month or this month, we had a bearish indicating candle. So the market is potentially looking for some relief, potentially to this zone or maybe towards this zone. So for me, the bias is short and my first target is this monthly buying region. Now, what can I see on the weekly? On the weekly, 2 weeks ago, we had a bearish engulfing candle. So potentially phase one started. And previous week, I can also see that we have a bearish indicating candle. The bulls tried to push towards the upside and it got sold. So on the daily, I'm looking for a daily reversal. And what can I see on the daily? I can see that shoulder one, the head, and shoulder two potentially, and also very nicely aligning with a weekly high, um, sorry, I was going to say weekly low, but no, it's very nicely aligning with our weekly high. So I'm just, again, patiently waiting for the price to get to this zone to look for a potential setup. NZD Swiss. What can I see on NZD Swiss? On the monthly, I can see an inverse head and shoulder. Shoulder one, the head, shoulder two. And I can also see that this head and shoulder has been activated and has also been respected. So for me, the buy is on the monthly is long. What can I see on the weekly? On the weekly, I can see a bullish M pattern. First up, down, third leg up, and the fourth leg down. And what can I also see is that we're currently trading at this structure. So I can immediately go to the daily, 4 hours, the daily. I marked out my daily first structure, which is my risk-free zone. And I'm waiting on the 4 hour for price to show me a possible entry. Now, how can that look like? I'm hoping that the price goes a bit lower, forms here an inverse head and shoulder, and then goes towards the upside. Now, this daily first is my risk-free zone. This means that when I'm involved in the trades, I will go break even on this zone. And at the same time, when this zone has been tapped, for me, the trade becomes invalid. Next on the list is Swiss yen. When I look at the monthly, I can see bullish momentum, bullish candle closes, and very impulsively. So why not stay looking for long setups unless the market on the monthly is giving me another confirmation, a bearish confirmation, or an indicating candle? I'm still looking for long setups. What can I see on the weekly? On the weekly, I can see a bullish end pattern, and we currently broke above this weekly high. So I'm expecting a pullback towards this weekly high to potentially trade a phase four trade. Now, I also need a daily confirmation pattern for this. And what can I see here on the daily? I have a bullish M. One, two, three, potentially fourth leg, and then fifth leg to the upside. Now, also, when I take my FIB from the high to the low, I can see that this daily structure is aligning nicely with our 61.80 pip or golden zone. So again, like all these setups, just waiting for the price to get there. Then Euro and the D. When I start on the monthly, what can I see? I could see an inverse, or I could see, sorry, a head and shoulder pattern, shoulder one, the head, potentially shoulder two. And I see that previous month we had a bullish indicating candle, which means that we had a bullish candle, very small bullish candle with a little bit of a longer wick on the downside. So for me, potentially this could mean that the market is going to look some relief up towards this zone or towards this zone. So my bias on the monthly is long. What can I see on the weekly? Oh, there we go. On the weekly, 2 weeks ago, we broke above this weekly low with an engulfing candle. What did I see previous week? Previous week, we retested this weekly low, and we haven't tapped this weekly first structure. So for me, the weekly is still long and the weekly is still valid, but I need a daily confirmation pattern. Now, what can I see on the daily? I see an inverse head and shoulder, shoulder one, the head, and shoulder two, and I can see that the price has not come back to the zone yet. So I'm expecting some more liquidity to be sitting right at the zone. And when I go to the left, I can see that our previous low or daily low started from here and created a very strong impulse from this zone. So I'm just waiting for this inverse head and shoulder to be active to look for a setup. And then last but not least, we have AUD Swiss. What can I see? AUD Swiss. AUD Swiss, I can see previous month or this month. We closed bullish impulsively. We have bullish momentum. So for me, until we have reached this zone or until the market shows me otherwise, I will look for long setups. What can I see on the weekly? On the weekly, I have a bullish M pattern. One, two, three, fourth, fifth leg. So I'm waiting for the price to tap my weekly I see to look for a long setup. Now, what could I also see on the daily? On the daily, I can also see a Boolean pattern that is currently reacting on this zone. And then when I go to the 4 hour, I have still here the drawing. I have a potential D cell with a FIP completion on this daily zone. But again, I'm not interested in this setup because the price has not come back to my weekly zone yet. And for me, for a setup to be valid, the price needs to be on my weekly zone. Yeah, that were all the setups. I still have other weekly zones, weekly lows, weekly highs that still need to be tapped. Um, if they get tapped, then I'm also looking for those. Also, a new thing starting from next week, I will also be doing my reviews. This means that I will show you what trades that I took that week and give you a quick explanation as to why I took those trades.